Right, so we have just watched Italy versus Turkey. We're about to do our recap. I'm going to start off by saying I don't know what's worse, Turkey's performance or their kit, because their kit looks like it was made in Turkey.
Yeah, that was pretty butters kit, wasn't it? It's nice to have both of you on the same screen as well.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, Mark's over here distancing, as you can see, having a beer. So, yeah, we've just watched Italy versus Turkey. First half poor, second half, I don't know if it was any better. Rory, for you, watching this game, tell me what your takeaways are.
So, I'm a little bit disappointed with Turkey. I don't actually know where they go from here. They've ran themselves into the ground today. For all their defending, they've had to play for literally 75 minutes without the ball at all. They've subbed most of their midfield off, and now they've got another game in a few days. I just think they approached it all wrong, to be honest with you. Was really disappointed. I felt like Çalhanoğlu was getting the ball way too deep. He was picking the ball up off his fullbacks. He was almost playing 15 yards in front of the back four. Obviously, a player like that, you want him and Ziyech up as close to Burak Yilmaz as you can get them, and they just were pretty much ineffective. As for Italy, they were, if anything, so as you know, I backed Italy highly, but I wish they'd have been tested a little bit better, because they did look fantastic, but they just weren't tested at all. I think
when you were looking up,
go on, Rory.
Yeah, I just thought they weren't tested at all, and you know, Jorginho was pretty much allowed to dictate play with no one anywhere near him. Chiellini was stepping into midfield and popping up on the edge of the box, showing for the ball. I mean, Barella was much better in the second half. He was driving through the midfield, but did you really feel like Italy were tested at all? Because I'm a little bit disappointed. I'd rather have seen Italy tested by a good team. I mean, we all know that these Italy players are good players, but it's difficult because I don't feel like...
Well, Mark, in the first half, Mark said to me he doesn't know what Turkey's game plan was or what they was aiming to do. Do you, looking at their second half, do you have any more understanding or belief in what they were looking to do? Or did it even inspire you to think that, you know, maybe all of these pundits, ourselves included, saying Turkey were going to be our dark horses for the tournament? That definitely didn't give you much faith, did it?
cheers, Jeff.
At least call me Cammy.
Yeah. But I was saying this, I picked, as our listeners will know because they will have watched the pods, I picked Turkey as a dark horse to do well. And I said to Chris, I didn't realize how many pundits and people had actually picked Turkey to do well until today. And I listened to our preview, which I wasn't part of, and heard you guys also picked Turkey to do well. Within 10 minutes, I regretted that choice. I was like, they just looked nervous. They never got over it. Their touch was bad. The passes were bad. Even the passes that made it to the players were half a yard away from the player, so the player had to try and bring it under control and was in trouble.
Or too far in front.
I think they had their best players are 35-year-old centre forwards who's playing up against 36-year-old centre backs. You're like, if you ever got a chance to go for it and play behind the lines, this is the only chance you've got.
Although I do say when Under came on, I did think that Under made a difference for Turkey.
Yeah, because he runs at people. Like I don't know how they set up a team with no one that can run at people. Like Karaman, the number 9, I thought he was going to be a bit more direct, and he sort of tucked in like a right midfielder.
Well, for me, Turkey clearly set up because to get a draw out of the game. You know, they looked like they were the lesser side out of the two, and definitely wanted to see if they can eke out a point. It seemed as though maybe they had a halftime talk and realized actually we can get out of this Italy team, because I don't even think Italy showed much in that first half either. They had Insigne, who was probably their most attacking player, but I thought he was dirt poor in that first half.
He got worked out in 10 minutes.
And after that, they probably thought, all right, we might be able to nick a goal here, and then tried to, and then just got exposed. After that first goal, I even said to Mark, and I said it on our chat, as soon as they concede one time, it's floodgates. They're just going to concede, because they're all of that emphasis on trying to get a result more than just a draw. They probably going to be a bit disheartened. For me, although I pick Italy as the winners of this, and it is the first game, so we can only expect a certain amount of, I don't know what good performances in terms of, are they going to win it? Are they going to lose it? Is this the team they're going to be throughout the tournament? I do think they were poor. I don't think they was as good as what I was hoping for. I think Immobile, definitely outside of his goal, didn't really show much. Insigne, as I said, didn't really show much. Defensively, they looked pretty good. Although there was a couple of times where I thought that if Turkey just ran at the centre backs, they could come out, which is quite worrying, because if they're up against big teams like France, for instance,
that one where who was it? Was it Under who run? Who intercepted the ball, made a run, and did a pretty average shot, which was blocked. If that was, you could see that getting in behind. So Italy did what they had to do. They turned up, they beat Turkey. I don't think I saw enough in Italy to be able to break down a bigger team. I also don't think Turkey tested them enough. Like, I think there's one time where I thought, you know, if that run, if that was Mbappe, if that was Rashford, if that was even a Lukaku, that defender's being skinned and they're going a goal down. But that is a bit harsh in 90 minutes to be like one chance that come against them.
And I think Italy did exactly, like, I think you've already touched on it, but Italy did exactly what was asked of them. They didn't need to come out. I think the midfield three are a lot better than they showed today. I mean, Barella was, for the first half, was just popping up everywhere without really ever being challenged, and was just playing nice little 1 and 2 touches. I think Barella, when you get into him and you put him under pressure, is a much better player than he showed tonight. I also think Locatelli will eventually be replaced by Verratti. Verratti wasn't fit tonight. I think Italy did exactly what they had to do. They turned up, they won 3-0, and I think we'll see a much better Italian side when they come up against better opposition. I think they'll get better. If you'd have asked any Italian fan or player or supporter at the start of today, would you take a 3-0 win? They would have absolutely bit your hand off.
I've actually got a quote from an Italian fan saying, "I fancy Italy 1-0. Opening games are usually cagey."
Yeah.
That's a lot what we said. 3-0. 3-0 could be flattering, but you're never gonna be unhappy with a 3-0 opening game against what is supposedly a tough Turkey side.
What is supposedly a really good side that everyone's picked up, yeah.
But also, I mean, look, Turkey were nervous. Their passing was dreadful. They couldn't string more than one pass together. Their runs were pretty much absent. And I think you said that Yilmaz needed some help up front. I thought he was terrible. He just couldn't do anything with the ball at his feet. They looked amateur.
But he was a 35-year-old striker playing up top on his own. I think if you've got someone a little bit closer to him, I'm not saying he had a good game by any stretch of the imagination, but you're asking a lot of any player to play 30 yards away from every teammate up front on his own, let alone a player who's been playing at this level for 20 odd years or for 17 years, is 35 and has just played a 45 game season with Lille where he's won the league. I think playing like that and leaving Yilmaz up top was asking a lot of him. I think, if anything, they should have dropped Yilmaz back as another body and left either Çalhanoğlu or Ziyech up front. Because then at least when they got the ball, they could turn and run.
No, I think what it was is they had worked on the defence. Like, I think it was in the first 5 minutes, it looked like, I can't remember, one of the Italian midfielders kicked a ball over the back of his shoulder like a clearance.
Oh, Barella, and it dropped at the right way of Berardi's feet.
Yeah, and it was like they've worked where to clear the ball, so they haven't just worked on how to defend. They've said, okay, when you get the ball, hit the ball in this area. You're in this area. The problem with Turkey is they were clearing the ball, and he was nowhere near it. So it wasn't that he needed support. It was the fact that they just didn't know where to clear the ball. They were like, out, out, out. You could imagine it. Like, if there was no crowd and no commentators, you could imagine them shouting, out, out. Where if they had worked on it, it would have been like, all right, all clearances, when you're on this side of the field or that side of the field, hit in the channels. And the two chances they got were in the channels. But the issue is Yilmaz and the team didn't understand where they were going to clear the ball. So a couple of times you see the long ball and Yilmaz is nowhere near it, and you're like, well, it's 50%, who's at fault. Like, the defenders need to be told, look, where you've only got half a second to make a decision, you got to clear it. It needs to be muscle memory to clear it in a certain area. And Yilmaz needs to know, as soon as he sees Turkey get the ball, they're going to clear it in an area. So he needs to be running into that area. But they're so disjointed.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this was just a performance of two sides where one's just better than the other.
Yeah. Where
and
do you
that's
think
it.
this leaves? Where do you
They
think?
both had their best games, but it was just different level of class each.
Okay, and quickly before we go, where do you think this leaves both teams? Do you still think Turkey can get out of this group? And
First game in the groups, it's still all to play for. To be fair, I mean Turkey. It's weird when you've only got a 3-game round robin. When you lose the first game, it means that you've got a sense of urgency. Hopefully Turkey come out and look like they want to actually try and win a game. Because if they go out for their second game and play to try and get a draw and not win, I mean, you might as well just go for the win, because if you lose, you're pretty much in the same position beforehand. So hopefully they go for it. Italy, they've won their first game. They can still be fairly conservative for their second game, where I guess for big teams, you kind of hope that your last game, nothing's weighing on it. You can play some of your second tier players, or the ones that aren't going to be starting lineup, so it can set you in better stead for the next round. But depends where you want to finish in the group, I guess.
Yeah, and the way this works, Italy are basically qualified now.
Yeah.
Winning 3-0 in your first game means even if you lose the next two, you got 3 points, and then even if everyone's on 3 points, you've given yourself half a decent chance of a decent goal difference.
Yeah.
Italy, it's weird to say they basically qualified from the group.
Yeah, I think personally, I think Italy will win the group now quite comfortably.
Yeah,
I think,
agreed.
And basically, I think Turkey are going to be very interesting to watch in the next game, because they have to get something. They can't play like that again. If they play like that again, then they're out.
Yeah, I will say that the only performance that was worse than Turkey was the BBC coverage. They are just so bad. They're terrible, aren't they?
I thought I was bad at pronouncing Chanaloglu, but Jermaine Jenas absolutely took the biscuit. I think within 5 minutes, there's been about 4 different.
Hopefully there's more games on ITV. Yeah, BBC just ain't the one, and that's the one we're going to go with. Right, we will see you later on for more Euros previews, reviews, and all the good stuff. Thanks for all the views
if you're
today.
watching for the first time, don't forget to click like and subscribe.
Yes, and follow us at Auto FC. Follow us on YouTube. Follow Rory at Rory Duffy, wasteman.com. And we will see you next time.
And our Tinder has a new account manager. So
See you in a bit, guys.
All right, enjoy the Euros.
Bye.